212.
Ladies and gentlemen, right now, we want to bring forth to the stage a very special guest, the undisputed.
Nah, son, baby. And this is another episode.
Can't help but swing it, boy. Swing it, brother, swing.
And this is your host. Nah, son, baby. Here we go. Microphone check 1 2 1 2. This is your host, Nah, son, baby. And this is another episode of Swingers After Dark. And I'm with my dear associate in the swing lifestyle. Wait, I'm not going to put your name on blast. So tell the audience, what do you go by?
I am Jake Anthony, and on FetLife, I am RugFace.
FetLife, you RugFace. And tell them why you call yourself RugFace.
I love to have women walk on me and stand on my face. It's their entitlement, or in my world, they have the right to do that. They have a right to walk all over me, stand on my face in whatever shoes they happen to have on, or none at all. My mouth is a toilet for them to piss in if they want to. I have a toilet especially made for that purpose. I build trample tables. They can stand and walk all over my cock and balls. I've built several of those. If you're into CBT, I've built cock and ball crushers. I have a nut crusher here with me. I have this trample table with me so you can walk on my nuts. Or if you ever wondered what it felt like to actually stand on someone's dick. It's a different kind of a feeling. I've been told by women that have done it that it's got this spongy, squishy kind of feel to it. You can give it a shot. I have a queening seat here I just made for long sessions of oral servitude for ass and pussy. My longest time under one was 90 minutes. My first time was under it was 90 minutes. Mistress watched a movie while I ate her pussy and asshole out, so it was pretty fucking awesome. She always had peanut butter in her pussy, too. Anytime she ever let me eat her out, she always had peanut butter in her ass and pussy, and it never dawned on me till like a couple months ago, because she's in Japan now, why she always called me Skippy.
No pun intended.
Yeah, like, why the fuck you call me? I never asked her because you're a mistress. Like, okay, you call me Skippy, it's just a nickname. But I never put two and two together, because every time she let me eat it, it was fucking peanut butter in there. And so many times, I just felt like taking some jelly. I knew I would have gotten my ass beat for doing it, but it's just because I'm a wise ass when it comes to something like that. But I build a lot of toys, floggers, canes, tube whips, a whole shitload of paddles.
Wait. We're going to get to that part later, but I want to ask you, where did you get that kink from?
Actually, my huge fetish is women's stocking feet. The smell of a woman's stocking feet. Not pantyhose, not fishnets, not thigh highs, stockings. I was grown up in the 60s. Pantyhose hadn't even been invented yet. So, at the age of 5, I was a family member asleep on the bed, and she happened to have the reinforced heel and toe stockings on. That's what was around in the day. And I was 5 years old, and for whatever reason, something possessed me. This curiosity or whatever, like, what do her feet smell like?
You know what? I could relate, because I remember when I was like 3 or 4 years old, you know, I like plus-size women, full-figure women. So I remember when I was like 3 or 4 years old, and the reason why I remember, because I was living in a certain part of the city, so that's why I could backdate my age at the time. And I remember I left the room. I left out my uncle's room. My uncle was married at the time. Well, he still is. He just haven't gotten a divorce, but that's a whole nother discussion. But yeah, so I followed my cousin, their son, out the room. And it just so happens that when I left the room, my uncle's wife trailed me. She was behind me, and she was wearing lingerie. And she's plus size, full figure, BBW. And I kept looking back, and I had no concept of sexuality, but I kept looking back because it intrigued me. And I remember my uncle's wife saying, "Oh, he kept looking back at me," and my uncle started laughing. So I think that was like the time where
it sets the ball in motion. That's what it sets the ball in motion for what is going to eventually come out to be. I mean, mine started at 5 years old. And for whatever reason, I got up from whatever I was playing with on the floor, and I smelled her feet around the toes. That was it. I was done. I was sold. So ever since then, because even in the 60s when I was growing up, because pantyhose hadn't been invented, a lot of times a guy would see, or a kid would see a woman hike up her skirt and adjust her stockings. That's sexy as fuck. Especially with the seam stocking, like, knowing what their feet could possibly smell like, and it just stuck with me and with me and with me. I don't care about chicks' tits. If they could lop her titties off, I wouldn't give a fuck. Ass, legs, and feet, not in that order, but that's a whole different ballgame.
So how did it evolve from, feet to getting pissed on?
Well,
or even scatology?
that I haven't gotten into yet. From the feet thing, because of my fetish for women's feet, to me, the next possible logical thing would be to have them stand on my face. As in, okay, you want to smell my feet so bad? Here, smell them now. And they're standing with their full weight on my face, and I can't do anything but smell them. Here, stand there as long as you want, honey. But somewhere it's the female dominance part of it. I read in a book while I was in the military, actually. It was Club Magazine. To me, the best one they had out there at the time. It was a 3 or 4 part expose or a story on female domination. So that was my first actual reading into it, and this was 1977, 78, somewhere in there. So it was like 3 or 4 months I was waiting for that next issue to come out because I was glued to that fucking article. And it just intrigued me so much. And the part of the story was that there was a particular club, bar, strictly for women. For women, period. But the furniture, all of it, was men. The bar stools were men. You take a normal bar stool, it was reconstructed so that a man's face was actually face up and locked in that way, so that his face became the bar stool. So women would come in, and this one story, a woman had just gotten fucked in the ass, just came in and sat on this guy's face at the bar and had some drinks. So all that, whoever's cum it was going right in his mouth. Like the furniture, the guys on all fours, all the cocktail servers were men, and like a lot of them at the table while serving a drink were required to jerk off in the drink right there, or the women right there would jerk them off into their drink. That just fucking, that whole expose, that whole story just got me. I'm like, ugh. And then the men's were also used as toilets. For the most part, men were just pissed in, but there were a couple whose mouths were shit in. You'd have to be really hyping me to fuck up to get me to that point. The right woman, dressed right, in the right atmosphere, and everything's going right, I would probably have her shit on my face.
Ladies and gentlemen, that goes to show that even kinksters have boundaries.
Yep, I will. I would go so far, and I'm not sure I'd actually pull it off in my fantasy I have. I wouldn't eat it, but I would probably, and it's take the right woman to shit in my mouth. I wouldn't eat it, I wouldn't swallow it, but I would leave it there.
So it's like, listen, I discriminate when it comes to feet because I love pretty toes. I don't love corns and hammer times and shit like that. Nope. Do you have the same discrimination? I've
found through all my years of life that you can, my ideal size is a 5 to like a 9, pushing it. You can have a beautiful, beautiful like pair of 7s. I mean, they're just gorgeous. Then you can have another pair of 7s. Like, what in the fuck did you do to these things all your life? They look like they've been, like she'd never, ever had shoes on in her life, and she lived in a rock quarry. So they're just hideous. They're mangled up. Their feet get curled up. No, I do have some standards. I like to have a nice arch, if I can see it. I like their toes, what I call symmetrically perfect, where all the toes, they just nice V or a round shape. There's no one toe sticking out further than the other one. And the smell. They gotta smell. The worse a woman thinks her feet smell, the more I'm going to love it. So.
Listen, I love to drink like champagne from women high heels. That's what I love. And I love sucking toes. Mm-hmm. I love licking the bottom of feet. You know, I never came from like them rubbing their feet on my dick. How you ever came from that?
Yeah, I have. And not bare feet. Again, it's got to be stockings. If I had to, well, I kind of am a dom in some areas, but when it comes to that, for playtime with me, if it's just spur of the moment, that's one thing. But if it's going to be a continual play partner, then I'm going to be getting that woman a pair of stockings, a garter belt. I'm dressing her.
You know what? What birthday? What's your month? What birthday you was born? Like
I was born September 16th, 58.
Oh, see, that's close. I was like, is this a Libra thing? But you close enough. You know what I'm saying? You close enough. Because, like, I love fishnet stockings. I love pantyhose. I love, like, garter, like, sheer garter built outfits. Like, I'm into that, too. I'm a very visual person. So, are you visual as well?
I'm very visual, but when I look at a woman, the first thing I look at is her face, and then boom, right to her feet, if I can see them. If the face passes muster, I'm shooting for her feet. If I can see him, then, depending if I can see him, I'm going to make a play for her. For years, when I actually did drink and go into bars, within 2 minutes, 3 minutes tops, I could pick out a woman and have her feet in my hands or have her in the parking lot walking on me.
So was there ever a time where, you know, she was like butt ass ugly, but her feet were on point? Like, how you ever come across that dilemma?
I did one time in one of my old watering holes called the Jetty on Kent Island.
And where's that?
It's right on Kent Island in Maryland. I actually went in there just to have a drink, and there's a woman in there sitting on a picnic bench with her feet up, and she had some really soft-looking, sexy-ass feet. Her face, it was like a 2 o'clock in the morning face. You'd take it, but, you know, because there's nothing left. But she wasn't all that bad looking, but I walked up because I couldn't. Her feet were just too fucking nice. And she was with her girlfriend there, and like, you ever had them feet massaged? Like, no, why, you offering? Like, damn right. So, I mean, I'll walk right up to a woman and just open up a conversation like that because I'm going to get to her feet. I can go just about any bar and within a couple of minutes target a woman. I've learned over the years, and I've had a lot of men on Fat Life write to me because I've posted a lot of pictures about it, how the fuck I pull this off so fast. And the main key, confidence. If you ain't got the cojones just to walk up to a woman you've never even met and open up a conversation with her to introduce your life into hers just to get to where you want to get to, and you got to have your shit ready. Like, you got to catch a woman off guard because I would walk up to him, like, make some kind of comment. Anything. The band's great. Hey, you got some nice ass boots there. You ever walking on anybody with them? And while they're going, what? I already had a picture on my phone like this.
Wait. I'm glad you said that because a lot of dudes, you know, want to take the easy way route and want to like marry blow up dolls and they want to be hate women type shit. But I tell them, it's like I tell dudes, when you approach a woman on Facebook, before you approach them, before you go in their inbox, go to her page and see what she's interested in. So I'm glad you said that. I'm glad it's about paying attention to detail and using whatever she has on or whatever she likes to your advantage. So go more into depth about that.
Well, you gotta look at the woman because, like I said, I will walk into a bar and I've learned that it's easier to steal one woman from a group of 4 or more people than it is to steal one woman from a group of 4 or less. In a few minutes, they're gonna, hey, what happened to so and so? If you have 4 or more people there, it's going to be a few minutes or a while before, hey, whatever happened to so-and-so? Too late. We already did our thing. Like quick, I would have a woman, I would target her. I can look at a woman's face and know if she's going to even be worth my shot and going for it.
By her countenance.
Just the way she carries herself. And I've actually counseled the guys on Fat Life when they say, when you target a woman, you don't want the main woman. The one that seems to be the leader of the pack, she's going to be the first one missing. She may be the one you want, but she's going to be the first one they miss because she's like the mouthy one or the leader or the boisterous one. So you don't want her. You have one that's kind of like demure and like really demure. She probably going to be way too bashful and shy to even want to approach no matter how good your salesmanship is. You want another one that has that edge look to her, that stern kind of look, and some women have it. They have that defense. Yeah, they have that stern kind of look in their face, or that like they don't take no bullshit kind of look. And you just go for it. And like I say, I always had a picture ready on my phone before I even approached. I would have that thing on my phone ready to rock, and whatever picture it was, I have it ready to rock and roll for whatever comment I was going to make. Yeah, like this. You can walk on me and stand right on my face. And a lot of times, their girlfriends or their friends would see that and like, yeah, go ahead, do it. So I'd use anything to get a woman on my face, including her friends. So when their friends see that, it's like, yeah, go ahead and do it. We want to see that. We want to see you do it. Come on. They'll edge her like, oh, fine, come on. I get what I want.
See, my man Jake, he's like the Berlin Wall. Well, he knocked down their defense mechanism like the Berlin Wall. And a lot of you motherfuckers Can I do that? So tell people about Fet Life. That's for the slow motherfuckers out there. That's FETLIFE, Fet Life, short for fetish.
Right. I've been on it for 12 years now, I guess. It's worldwide. Like literally, it's world fucking wide, and it's free. If you have to pay for anything, it's to watch somebody's videos. It's $5 a month. I never do that. You can watch your own videos all you want, but if you want to watch somebody's videos that, hey, this looks interesting, well, it's going to cost you $5 a month. But it's literally worldwide. And I would actually go into some of these places, like towns and countries you'd never even heard of, just to see who had a computer. And you go on some of these countries, and like there's maybe 4 fucking people in the whole country with a computer, and it's been 3 or 4 years since they've even been on the profile. So when you find something that you like, go to that person's profile and see when they were on there last. If it was like a month ago, 2 months ago, don't even bother. You're never going to see them. But you can pinpoint a town that you want to look into, like your own town, or one next to you. You can pinpoint it and find out anybody on Fet Life who's in that town. Get yourself involved in a munch from a local munch. Best fucking way to meet. I had meeting people. I had 6 mistresses at one time. 4 of whom knew each other from a munch. 2 of them, 3, there was a couple, 1 or 2 would use me together and they'd send me off to the rest of them. It was fucking awesome. Like I say, Fet Life it was great. Get yourself into a munch group. Right now, because of the virus, it's kind of hard to do that because of the restaurant atmosphere. But that's you can go so far from doing that. Just stay in your own town. It's amazing, but you just, when it comes to your fetish, I'm pretty boisterous about it. I'm pretty vocal about it, and I'm not shy or bashful one way or another. I'll walk up to a woman in a grocery store, and I have.
Speaking of breaking the mold, how is because the lifestyle is an amalgamation of people. It's a mixture of people from various persuasions. And I noticed that you're probably the only Caucasian who be at parties that's predominantly black or people who have highly melanated skin. So how did you slide in to be that dude, to be that quote unquote token, to where everybody fuck with you? You know what I'm saying? Everybody fuck with you regardless of your skin tone. So how did you get to the point where people, race doesn't matter. We just like you because of who you are, your energy, and the content of your character.
Well, every party that I've been to since I started my business in 2.5 years ago, I've always been the only salt and the pepper. Straight up, I've always been the only salt and the pepper. As a kid in 1963, I believe it was.
Because you was born when racism was real, like Jim Crow. It was crazy. So how did you break out of that mode?
I was actually a foster child to a black family for a while.
Really?
Yeah, I was. My biological father was an abusive alcoholic. He never laid a hand on me, but my mother. 2 weeks after she had me, he put her back in the hospital. But got to the point where the state of New Jersey took me away from her until she could prove that she could take care of me. And they put me with a foster child, as a foster child with a black family. It was 2 brothers and a mother. I don't remember a father in the picture. But the 2 brothers, Jimmy and Ronnie, they were fucking great. They were a year apart. I think I was there maybe 6 months. And I've always had,
an affinity
for black women. And in my realm, a black woman is far more apt to get into the activities that I enjoy than a white woman.
Wait, it's funny you said that, because people would say the reverse, because the swing lifestyle particularly was on the military basis and is considered a white thing, quote unquote. So it's funny how you would say that.
Well, I can't say I haven't had white partners, but predominantly,
most in your experience,
just about all of my mistresses, with the exception of 2, have been black. All of them. My very first 2 were black, and they were friends. For one thing, black women taste a whole lot better. White women...
we put season in our food, so that's probably why, you know what I'm saying?
A little bit of spice. White women, in my experience, they'll talk a good game, and I've put them to the test. Be it on Tumblr, be it on Fet Life, be it on Facebook or Instagram. When they want to come talk on that thing, I put them to the test and make them prove it. You want to be a dom? You live right here in Maryland? Fuck that shit with all this talking on Hula or wherever, shouting and all that, hang out. Fuck that shit. Let's meet. Let's meet in a fucking public place. We'll see each other eye to eye. Blah, blah, blah. If we're gonna make it, if we're gonna end up playing, let's get the shit rolling. All this bullshit back and forth, no. And then most of the time they want a tribute. In over 12 years in the LS, I've never, ever, ever given a woman a tribute. I've bought her heels, stockings, shit like that. But to take money out of my pocket, here's whatever. No, I've never done that, and I wouldn't.
So you bought her stuff because you wanted to, not for the pussy. It was to heighten the experience, the sexual experience.
Correct. I mean, like Stocking Queen. This is a woman she was already a mistress, but was involved in something else. So I brought her into the trampling world. She'd never had a good pair of stockings on before. So I basically trained this whole woman on all this. She was just fucking amazing because I created her basically in that realm. To have her I actually proposed to her before she rolled out. Her true love was out in the Dakotas, which is where she's been for the past 4 years. But it was great to have her. She's the only one to ever take me to subspace. And she knows now how to do that to someone, what it looks like, how to keep someone in subspace. It's an amazing experience. But actually, it was Heather. I was at the Baltimore Playhouse. Heather, and that same night, Sunshine Aces. That was my first night vending at all in the Playhouse. And they both came by. They both got my card. And Heather told me when she picked my card up, "So I'm going to change your life forever." So she invited me to her first birthday party. It was 2.5 years ago. And I forgot, it was a 7-story hotel, but it was fucking awesome. I had a great night.
So did you have a foot fetish before the Black Family, during, or after you were with the Black Family?
I actually started around the same time. They were like, I want to say the foot fetish thing came in first. Then all this crap with my biological father and me getting taken away from my mother. That was afterward. But it was just like, I don't have any recollection of the mom back then, because basically I spent a lot of time with the two brothers. We went to school together, we ate together, we slept together, we hung out together, we did everything together.
So that's why you're comfortable around black people.
Yeah.
Because you grew up with black people.
I grew up with black people, and the odd thing about it, I didn't really, because I actually grew up in Kansas. Mm-hmm. My mother remarried, my dad got transferred to Kansas. We didn't have...
That's when Jake went from Kansas to Oz.
Yeah, Kansas to Oz. I went down a yellow brick road. My best friend out there was Cuban. But we didn't have but maybe 1 or 2 black people in the whole school. And then when that came to an end, Vietnam was getting ready to come to an end. So my dad worked for Hercules Army Ammunition plant out there. So the government, in all their wisdom, well, let's close this plant down. We don't need it anymore. Which left my dad without a job. So we ended up going to New Mexico as a safety engineer. I went down for a month with my best friend. It was great. On a Navajo reservation. It's fucking great. There's only like 13 states I haven't been in the continental U.S. I did far more traveling as a kid with my parents than I did in the military. But when we went back to Jersey, we had a family business in the town. My high school, we had 6 black people. That's it. In the whole fucking school, we had 6 black people. So I really didn't grow up, per se, with black people once I hit 4th grade, 5th grade and up.
So how did you get into the lifestyle officially? And once you speak about that, segue that discussion to you selling floggers and paddles and shit like that.
My journey actually started off on this site called alt.com. It's kind of like FetLife, but they want your money. More than anything else, they want your money. It's a monthly or a quarterly thing, and no, you don't want that. FetLife was the way to go, and it was from a mistress that I met on Alt, who was also on FetLife, who's in Trenton, New Jersey, by the way, her and her wife. They're the ones,
quote unquote.
Yeah, they're the ones that actually told me about FetLife. I'm like, really? So I got on to FetLife. I'm like, oh fuck, I like this. So that was my segue into that. My business started. I was at a house party. I went there like every month, and the owner's girlfriend stood behind me one night and said, well, this is the very first flogger I ever made. So I turned around, looked at it, and I looked at her, and I'm like, well, what do you want for it? So I paid her $25 for it. I still got it, and the following month, I got another one from her. Well, 3 months down the road, I was at this singles thing that FetLife was doing over here across the bridge, and there was a guy doing what I do now, selling floggers and shit, but not the variety that I have. And I got 2 floggers off of him, and I still have them. And as he handed them to me, he said, it's amazing what you can find at Walmart. I looked at them fucking floggers like, fuck, I had to have an aptitude test before I went to marine mechanics school, before they would even take me into school. Like, fuck, I can make these things. I have still, and no one's ever seen it, the very, very first flogger I ever made. And I mean, nobody has ever seen it. Nope. So that, I started off just doing the floggers and doing like wood paddles. I didn't have a laser engraver back then, so I was doing stencils and paint, doing different kinds of paint, just trying to get as creative as I could. And then I started doing the rods out of different thicknesses of oak, and I'd either paint it or stain it. I always do all of my handles, but hand wrap. I make 99% of everything that I sell. There's very few things that I buy and resell it.
Well, did you get that skill from being in the military?
Actually, no. Just growing up, I was in the Cub Scouts. My dad used to take me hunting, fishing. We went camping. The stuff. I mean, he grew up in that kind of an atmosphere. His father was a builder. My grandfather was a builder. I just kind of I know how to work tools. I know my way around a toolbox. So with the creativity that actually Sunshine Aces gave me a lot of it, she had asked me if I could make this particular flogger. It was a Batman flogger. It's like, well, I can make the flogger, but where the fuck am I going to get Batman? It's like 2 weeks later, I'm walking around Wally World, and I'm not even looking, and then boom, there's a Batman iron-on patch. I'm like, well, fuck me. So I took a picture of it, and I sent it to Sunshine Aces, like, hey, I think I can make this. And she never told the dude that I couldn't. She just told him I couldn't make it. She never told the guy that I could and that I had made it. So she actually got it from me, and she was picking this guy up from the airport. She took a video of it. It was very heartfelt. It was amazing. But she had the guy sit down. He's a Batman freak. But he had him sit down in the chair at the airport, close his eyes, and she laid that thing in his lap and had him open his eyes, and his reaction was just amazing. I mean, it brought a tear to my eye, because I've never had anybody have such a reaction, show so much emotion and joy and elation over something that I made as this guy did. It was amazing to watch. So between the two of them, and like Heather's just, I mean, I've been at all the parties, and from there, other people see me and they want me at the parties. I love it. I fit right in. When I tell people, like, I'm the only salt and the pepper, like, really? Like, yeah, I'm like the only white person in the whole place, like 300-400 people. Like, really? Yeah, if we were to take a group picture, it'd be funny looking. Especially if I was in the front of the picture, like kneeling down, like, something's not right about this picture. But it's funny, I just go with the flow. I like it. I mean, I enjoy myself here. Like I said, black women are far more apt to get into my shit than a white woman is.
So where can people, are you selling your floggers online?
I do. I have www.kinkybitchadulttoys.com.
That's www.kinkybitchtoys.
Adult toys.
Wait, that's www.kinkybitchadulttoys.com.
Correct. If you have any ideas, you want something created, custom, let me know. I have a laser engraver. I do a lot of different pictures. A normal picture like you would take with your phone of you and somebody else, they don't usually come out too well. If you go on there on my site and see the types of paddles I do make, it's those types of pictures that if you have something like that I can do. If you want to create your own logo, I can do that. I can put your name on a paddle. I can put your name on a flogger handle. I do make some jewelry, earrings mostly. I do make some glow-in-the-dark flogger earrings. They're pretty cool. Just hit me up, and if you got any ideas, say, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. If you don't ask, you don't know. There's no such thing as a stupid or dumb question, except the ones you don't ask.
And also, every man should have a taste of chocolate, like my man Jake. And on that note, this has been another episode of Swingers After Dark podcast, and this is your host, Nasun, baby. Check out my website at www.nasunblaze.com. That's www.nahsunblaze.com, and check out my ebook, You, Me, Us, Them, The Swinger Manifesto. It's on Nook, Kindle, iBooks, Google Play. Go get it. Shoot me an email at swingpodcast@gmail.com. That's swingpodcast@gmail.com. And hit me up with any questions and or concerns that you may have. Rate, share, subscribe, and comment on this podcast. Dig. And on that note, until next time, peace. And get your taste of chocolate, man. Ow.